Secondary school. Yes, it is 7 o'clock. Our time is precious this evening, so we are going to get underway. So we have 3 school trustee candidates who are anxiously waiting to get started and share their message with you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. My name is John French, and I'm honored to moderate tonight's proceedings. For those who don't know me, I deliver the news weekday mornings on Mountain FM, and I also write a column for the Squamish Chief. I've been around a while. I've been around long enough to know that what most people are really waiting for is what prop is Terrell Patterson going to bring out tonight. I've been around a while. This all-candidates meeting was organized by Grace McLeod, the Acting Executive Director of the Squamish Chamber of Commerce, with help from Estelle Taylor of Sea to Sky Community Services. As I mentioned, time is precious tonight, so we are going to jump right into things. Note number 1, anybody, candidates, that has election material, we're asking, please keep it out of this room, just out of fairness for the process. We'd like to keep this room free of election papers, flyers, messaging, and we'll keep the messaging pure to what the candidates have to say in their remarks. So we're going to start things off with our school trustees and delivering opening remarks 1 minute in length. I'd like to introduce Shweza Spakwas. She's known to most of us as Alice Gus. Alice, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My English name is Alice Gus. I also carry Trustee Candidates. So in order for me to be the voice for the people, I need to listen, and I'm willing to listen. I plan to be the key leadership role in ensuring that the schools operate within the standards and that the programming services remain responsive to our community, the community that we serve. For the community, by the community. I communicate with the school PATS, teachers, principals, and development of our strategic plan and vision. And it'll be awesome to have all of us in the process. Through communication, listening, understanding the needs to empower our school system. I'm willing to build a bridge and to know and understand that it is a two-way street and it's not a one-way street. I love the statistics. I would love to see the big picture of where our children are and where we can build on the needs and the priorities, plus doing a lot of proactive activity. One mind, one body, one spirit, work as one in School District 48. So let's all go on the journey together, students, parents, teachers, principals, and trustees.
Thank you. Thank you, Alice.
Okay.
We'll have some questions for you in a little bit, Alice, but thank you very much for those opening remarks. Just a quick note, anybody who is a little microphone shy and does have a question for our school trustees but does not wish to use the microphone over at this side of the room when we get to that part of the program, you are invited to write your question down, hand it over to one of the volunteers. You can take it to Grace or any one of the people who has volunteer tag. They will make sure that your question gets to Grace, and it will be considered with the oral questions. Next, for opening remarks, I would like to introduce Ian Kent.
Good evening. I have worked in the Sea to Sky School District for over 35 years. You're not here? Oh, I have.
There we go. Start over again, Ian. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
We're getting warmed up here too. Go ahead.
I have worked in the Sea to Sky School District for over 35 years as a teacher, vice principal, and principal. I finished up my last years as the assistant superintendent of schools. All of my children graduated from House on Secondary. I am recently retired and would love the opportunity to give back to my community. These are very interesting times in education as we've just come off a long and challenging labor dispute. I believe we need to restore, repair, and rekindle our working relationships with parents, students, and teachers. This is also an exciting time in the district as we've recently developed our education plan, Pathways to Learning, which will be implemented. The common goal will be to create safe, purposeful, and powerful learning environments in order that all students can think critically, collaborate, and learn. As a trustee, I would be committed to welcoming advice and opinions from all employees and citizens in our district. I'm up for the challenge of assisting in the planning of the educational future for our youth. If elected school trustee, I will bring to the position experience, knowledge, and a real passion for public education. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Opening remarks now from...
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. When considering what an incumbent might do, it is helpful to know what he has done. During the past 4 years, I have chaired a board that has collaborated with teachers and parents in developing an exciting, new, widely supported education plan. If re-elected, I will play a key role in seeing to the completion of its 5-year implementation. But we have done much more than plan. In the past 4 years, we have increased our overall graduation rate by 12%, while our Aboriginal graduation rate has improved by an astonishing 87%. These numbers make us the envy of many school systems, including private ones. We do have challenges. We can and will continue to improve grad rates and to ensure that our grads leave with the skills necessary for attractive post-secondary options. I take pride in my work as a trustee in the past 9 years, and with your help, I look forward to the next 4. Thank you.
Candidates take note. Rick gave us a bonus 5 seconds there. Thank you very much. I'm telling you, we're going to need all the time we can get this evening. So we're going to enter into a few minutes of question and answers with our 3 trustee candidates. We'll take questions and answers until 7:15. If you have a question you'd like to pose from the microphone over there with Grace, just hop over there and she'll get you into a line. I see some folks are waving that they have written questions. If you find one of the volunteers, or one of the volunteers can come to you. And anybody that does not wish to ask a question in the microphone, we certainly invite you to write it down and hand that question in. Carl Walker, should we start?
Thanks, John. And my question will be for all 3 candidates. So according to School District 48 budget documents that are available on the district website, overall spending on district office administration has increased by 44% over the past 3 years, while schools have suffered cuts to vital programs for students, including libraries, special education, and counseling, just to name a few. Spending on educational administrative salaries at the district office has jumped by a staggering 92%, and again, this is from district documents that are available on the school district website. It's jumped 92% from $452,000 3 years ago to $870,000 today.
Carl, you have a question, right?
I do, yep. This is very concerning for teachers, especially in the aftermath of our recent labor strike, where we called on trustees and other education partners to support our efforts to bring better supports for students, including our most vulnerable learners. So it's kind of a 2-part question. The first part is for incumbent trustee Rick Price. Can you explain why district administrative spending has skyrocketed over the past 3 years?
Go ahead, Rick. You've got 2 minutes for your answers, please.
I probably won't need 2 minutes. I'm not going to debate the numbers that Carl has provided simply because I don't have them in front of me. As everybody can imagine, school district budgets are complex. What I can say is that where central office expenses have increased, they have increased in order to support the education plan that we have developed. And we've developed it indeed in collaboration with teachers and with parents across our school district. In addition to that, many of the expenses that are listed as central office expenses are money that we spend in support of teachers in our school. We have increased the amount that we support for professional learning for teachers by an enormous amount. So I can make those notes about expenses in the school board office. I think the question of the distribution of resources between administration functions and the schools is a great question to ask, and it needs a more detailed examination, and one which actually I told Carl in an email not very long ago that we were quite happy to conduct in cooperation with the Teachers Association. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. And the second question, John?
Yes, go.
The whole picture first and see what's all in front of us. And what I know is to understand the past, know the present, and plan for the future. And plan for the future is with the community as a whole. That would be including the teachers, And if so be it, with the PAC can be part of it. I know we have a district PAC, we have PACs at each individual schools. So yeah, so in other words, more or less work at it together and find out what our priorities are and what our needs are.
Thanks, Alice.
Yep.
And next, Ian Kent.
Carl, just in terms of the budget setting, it is an open process. People, you're invited to come, make presentation to it always, and be part of it.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Carl. Yes.
Beth Miller, teacher in Sea to Sky. And a question for all of the candidates. I would like to know what actions you will take personally as if elected as trustee to advocate for improved, tangible supports for students, including our most vulnerable at-risk learners.
Alice, can we start with you, please?
At risk, I would get numbers, and I would use those as stats, and I would use find out what services we can provide for the at-risk students, because I know we get a certain amount of money from the provincial government, and with that we need to prioritize on what are the needs with these special needs students.
Great, thank you. Ian Kent?
I think one of our biggest roles is being an advocate for students. I see us doing it as part of the BC School Trustees Association province-wide. I see, that being a real key issue for us.
And Rick Price, please.
Thanks. There's more than one way that we support students at-risk students in our school district. One of them certainly Ian just mentioned, which is that we are members of the BC School Trustees Association who very actively lobby for, I believe their goal is not only increased funding, but more stable and more predictable funding for schools. And our school district is energetically behind those efforts to lobby the provincial government for that. But in addition to that, the education plan that we have developed called Pathways for Learning is definitely an enormous support for underachieving students or at-risk students. And so the professional work that our people, including the teachers, by the way, especially, do in our district is an enormous support for at-risk students. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Rick. And I mentioned our time is very tight.